morning, everyone, and welcome to our Restart, Rebound, Rebuild series. We have on with us this morning our 3 county commissioners, and there is some exciting news in our county for state grant opportunities. I'm really excited that all 3 county commissioners could be here with us this morning. So we have with us Commissioner Rick Wilbur, Commissioner Ernie King, and Commissioner Tom Henry. And they are going to talk with us a little bit about the different grant programs available in our county right now. This is all, most of the programs we're going to talk about today are, the money will be administered right here in our county. There is one program that we're going to talk about that is administered through a different organization. But again, the funding is available for our county businesses. First of all, let's just start with a real quick update from our county commissioners on anything happening at the county that our businesses should know about. So do you want to, other than these loans, let's just start with a quick, hello and overview. And how do you think the county is doing handling this pandemic? Let's start there.
Well, I think we've had a very successful approach to keeping this at a minimum. I've been very happy about the response of the commissioners and 9/11 and all of our emergency personnel. We seem to have gotten a handle on it very quickly. We've had no cases in any nursing home. Just this morning, I heard that 67% of the deaths in the United States are from nursing homes. Had no problem at the 3 nursing facilities, the hospital, or the jail. So we've been very, very,
knock on wood is right.
very happy with the response that's been given and keeping the current rate. We've only had 1 new case in the last 2 weeks. So we're keeping the current rate down even under the green stage. So that's our goal right now.
It's been good. The courthouse is back open by appointment only. And we've taken all the precautions to allow people to do their everyday work and still feel safe coming to work. All of our people that were furloughed are back to work now. We've done a little bit of scattering people. I mean, like that are in close quarters and things, so that they're not all there at the same time. But it's really working well. I'm really proud of the people in Wyoming County and how we've all reacted.
And I think our employees are to be applauded with the, many of them that were laid off because of the $600 a week stimulus were making quite a bit more money than they were, as everybody was pretty much across the board that was laid off. And I didn't hear any complaints at all. They were kind of dying.
No, they were.
They may be bored. I don't know, but nice. They were very, very good about coming back to work. So they should be applauded for that. Yeah. So things are going well. We're looking at it every week if we're going to open the courthouse back up without appointments, but that seems to be working okay, and it keeps the traffic down. Our employees are not walking so much from office to office to conduct business. They're trying to do everything they possibly can over the phone or email, so we're keeping that down too, and it's working out well, and it seems to be doing very, very good. So hopefully keep it up, and each week we'll reevaluate.
That's right.
We'll see what happens.
I've had the opportunity to go shopping downtown and out for dinner. We haven't been in the restaurants yet, but I've been outside, eating outside and doing different things. So it's been good, and I think everybody's being cautious, but the people are out there supporting our businesses, and it's very much appreciated.
Yeah, I was surprised how much traffic we were having on the highways and stuff again, which is great. Wonderful getting reopened.
I think it's a true testament to our county residents that we have not, even in the green, seen any spikes in cases. So I would put out there to all the businesses to keep doing what you're doing with social distancing and wearing masks when appropriate. And we really, as business leaders in our community, truly appreciate what you're doing. And we understand that it has not been easy. So one of the industries that has been the hardest hit, and Tom just talked about this a little bit, is our restaurant industry. And I had one of our restaurant owners that that couldn't be on with us this morning. He's having some work done in his restaurant, but he asked me to express to the three of you how very difficult this continues to be for the restaurant industry. The fact that many of them can only operate at 50% capacity. He has only a third of his staff back right now because he can't afford to bring any more staff back. And that's what I'm hearing across the board from other restaurant owners, is they can't afford to bring their full staff back at half capacity. They just would be losing money. So I think that the programs you have available will help them. So let's start out with let's see here. Let's start with so one of the things that I know I'm getting a lot of questions on is the governor announced 2 weeks ago $225 million in small business relief. And our small businesses have been asking me, how do we get that money? How do we get that money? Right, so let's talk about that program a little bit. That's the one that will be administered through what is called an accredited CDFI. And for us, our accredited CDFI is Metro Action in our area, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And I know when we talked, Rick, on Friday, we talked a little bit about that funding, and that while it is being administered through Metro Action, they are very eager to help us in Wyoming County receive the appropriate funding for our area as well. And I know that you also said there's a local organization who's going to help with that. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and what that connection will look like?
What that program is, there's been $100 million. Actually, it's 225 total. 100 million is going to businesses less than 25 employees, and the next 100 million is going to historically disadvantaged businesses.
Right.
And the last 25 million is a loan relief program, and we haven't gotten any details on that yet. They haven't rolled it out. But the 100 million, it sounds like a real lot of money, but it's throughout the whole state. And so we don't expect we're going to get a lot of grants on that, but we do have other ones we're going to talk about real soon. But the one for the 100 million for the whole state, that's being, as Gina just said, by Metro Action. They're out of Scranton. They're the arm funding for the Scranton Chamber of Commerce. And there's only 17 of these in the state, and that's the one that is a regional thing that represents us. And they're doing it in conjunction with TreeHab. So TreeHab will point you in the right direction for that. I'm urging small businesses under 25 to please apply. And I don't anticipate a lot of that because that money's going to go quick. But you know, we'll be rolling out everything officially tomorrow. We're going to be doing a press release with the local Tunkhannock paper, with the Rocket Courier, and with Endless Mountains Lifestyles. And then we're going to be advertising for 3 weeks solid after that, so people know about all these programs. That's a great program, but some of the other ones I think are going to be a lot more exciting to tell you about.
Right, and that funding is not, as we said, the funding is not available yet. The application is not even completed yet.
That is right.
We felt, and we've talked as chambers kind of across the state, that it was a little premature to announce it so early with no way for businesses to apply because they are in extreme need. But if you go to metroaction.org, you can put your name and email address into their system so that you continue to get updates. So what I imagine is as soon as that application is available, if you've entered your name and email address for them, they will send you the application right to your email. So I will put that, Allison, if you could just put that in the chat box. It's metroaction.org. And then we'll have that information, of course, in our newsletter going forward as well. So let's talk about.
I'm sorry. As I mentioned, we're going to be advertising for a 3-week period after the first week when we're going to be getting press releases. And we're hoping that by then we have all the contact information and it's already been approved. It's been approved, it just hasn't been solidified, I guess, so people can apply.
Right.
And we're just going to change the ad. So keep watching them every week. And hopefully by the time 2 or 3 weeks gets out there, we've changed our ad that we've got that gives all the details on that particular program.
That'll be perfect. So let's talk about some of the funding that is local and all right here in our backyard and available for our local businesses to receive. So maybe let's start with the CDBG funding. And I know I've talked with Dennis a great deal about this funding, Dennis Phelps at Treehab. So let's talk about what's in the CDBG pot right now and how our businesses can get assistance through that funding.
Okay, that grant program, there's approximately $170,000 that it has been approved already. That is being handled by Treehab, and we do have the information to get a hold of Treehab, the phone number and all, which that'll be in our press release tomorrow, of course. And those are for businesses with less than 50 full-time employees on the payroll as of March 1st of 2020. And that is for profit-only businesses. Nonprofits are not eligible for that program. And they have to be designated CDBG redevelopment or blighted areas in Wyoming County. So correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Nicholson,
Right.
Shopin, and Mahoopany, is that correct?
Right. And those counties or those places will get preference.
Right. If there's
right.
money left after they give them,
Right.
then others
Right.
can do it.
Right.
But they've gotten a lot of inquiries already about it. But those
Sure.
are earmarked for the more distressed areas in the county. So that's also a great program, and that's going to be directly through Treehab. I mean, we're writing herd over, but Treehab is administering it for us.
Right.
Right. And I also heard from that program, it's for employers that employ low to moderate income employees.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So
Even if the business is not considered that the distress like that, they don't meet those requirements. If they have employees that do, then they can do that as well.
That's correct.
and again, you can contact Treehab for more information about that. But let's talk about the overarching program that has led to this. And this is what you call COVID-19 County Relief Block Grant. And it's pretty exciting in the amount of $2.4 million that is Wyoming County specific funding. So let's talk about that a bit. This is where our businesses and our nonprofits are going to see the most help, is from this program, correct?
That is correct. You want me to,
Right.
you guys want
Yeah,
to-
it's going to be, I'm going to let Rick talk about it, but it's going to be administered through the Wyoming County Commissioners. And I'll let Rick tell you who's eligible. And
Okay, this is a real exciting one, and the one
it is.
we couldn't wait to tell you until tomorrow. That's why we're on here, because we're going to roll it out tomorrow, but we're going to let the business community know a little bit about it today. We got $2.4 million. I signed the contract that we sent in our original application on Tuesday, and on Friday I got the final contract back, sent it in, and it has been approved. So this money is there already sitting, waiting to go. We're finding out about the disbursement yet, probably when I get into the office, because we came right here this morning. We're going to have more information, but it's just hot off the pike and came out Friday afternoon when we signed the paperwork. So we have 2.4, a portion of it can be used to cover the county's expenses, and we anticipate we're going to take about $300,000 of that to pay for all the expenses that we had during COVID. We had a lot of overtime expenses and things like that. But the vast majority of it, $2.1 million, is available for the following 4 groups. Small businesses with less than 100 employees who did not receive funding through the federal Paycheck Protection Program,
The PPP program.
PPP,
right?
yeah,
Right.
or Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And that was questioned on one of the seminars we were at. What if they had losses in excess of what they got? If they got $6,000 from PPP and they had $25,000 of losses, why couldn't they apply? So they are going back and looking at that and seeing if you can still apply. So what we're telling people is, even if you got it, apply. Let us know what happened, how much you made how much you got from PPP, and what your actual losses were, and we're hoping we can fit you in.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll try to do whatever we can as long
Right
as they
now,
allow us to.
right now, the rules say if you got it, you're not eligible, but they're looking into that, because this is constantly changing. It's in flux right now, so hopefully that's going to change.
Every hour.
They'll be every
Right.
hour, yeah. Okay, another thing, this is something a little bit different. This one actually can give money to municipalities for direct COVID-related expenses. Municipalities and the county are not eligible for loss of revenue, only for actual expenses. Now, there is another program coming down the pike to help out municipalities and counties that for lost tax revenue or for whatever reason we lost revenue that we will apply for, but it's only for expenses for counties and municipalities. Businesses is actually for lost revenue. It's not just lost, for expenses you put out. So it's a lot broader program for everybody. They're really pushing tourism businesses, and I don't think this really affects us here in Wyoming County, but tourist businesses of all sizes. So even if it's larger than 100 employees, it's still okay, but that's they're pushing the tourism business. And another thing, and a lot of the programs that are out there were for-profit businesses only. This is for nonprofit 501c3 and 501c19 organizations, and everybody's familiar with the 3. What the 19 is veterans organizations. So different organizations. One thing we're finding, talking to a lot of nonprofits, is that businesses, they're hurting because they've lost so much business, so their donations are down. So this is money that can help with that. So what we're trying to do, there are a handful of businesses that are on the verge that we're going to try to do things for, and they're very, very important. The theater is one.
They're on here this morning, I
Are
see.
they? Okay.
Yep, and Hands is on here this morning.
Okay, we're going to be talking to you. We're going to be talking to Hands
Great.
and giving a little bit more. And we want to do this as fairly as possible. So we're going to break that out as best as we can. And then after that portion, which is going to be a small portion of it actually, there's only a handful that we're going to do that with. And then if we have 200 applications, we divide what we have left by 200. There's no way we can make a judgment call. Well, you lost more than you did, or you deserve more than this. So we're going to divide it up as best as we can. Anybody that applies, if you're eligible, you're going to get funded. Right. And then it's going to be your responsibility to keep the records that if we ever get audited, you're going to have to, prove that what you did. But basically, as far as what they tell me, proof, if you say that in a year I have $100,000 in revenue, and for that quarter I lost $25,000 in revenue. Well, there you go. There's your proof. I mean, it's not like you have to sit down with all of your bills and count them and everything else.
This looks to be fairly easy to be able to do that.
So we're hoping that that's the way it's going to be. So that's what our plan is, and we do have an application that we're working on. We're trying to push everything via email just because it's so much easier. We set up a special email, and since this is a CARES program, what do I call it? We care. We care at wycopa.org, wycopa.org. And I have 2 people going to monitor that, so nothing falls through the cracks. And for those that cannot do email because they just don't have it, which are people out there that don't, we have 2 phone numbers, and what we're doing is trying to control it between 2 hours a day, Monday to Friday. And that'll all be in the press release, so that'll be out there. So we do have that available, and then we can mail stuff out to people as well. And we'll send you the application. It's going to be a fillable form. You hit submit and send it back to us, and it's a done deal. So we're trying to make it as painless as possible for people and help you out.
Yeah, you've been through enough already.
Yes. Sure.
Right.
So I do want to talk about some of the tourism businesses. Campgrounds are eligible, hotels are eligible, the Endless Mountains Visitors Bureau, and any outfitters. So I know, obviously kayak rentals are down. People aren't getting out and about as much. So like all of those businesses are eligible under the tourism funding piece. Looks like, okay, it says, is there funding for broadband development included in this program? I understood that it would be eligible. I don't
That's
know.
A question.
I'm sorry. The question is there funding for broadband development included in this funding?
Not in this one. Not in this particular funding here. There's been info about that out there, but it's not in this what we're talking about today.
Well, actually, we made that decision. Broadband is an eligible expense, but it is so expensive. We've been talking to Bradford County, and they've already invested $5 million, and they're looking to invest another $5 million in broadband because the systems out there are kind of antiquated, and it would cost so much money. This is a $2.4 million pot of money, and we feel it's more important to give to the businesses rather than getting broadband. Also, there's a big push right now on satellites, and we've read some different stories and things that broadband may very well be available via satellite in a couple more years. It might be that reliable. This would be a great thing if we had $10 million given it to us. And they said you
Absolutely.
can only use on broadband. By God, we'd spend it in a heartbeat. But I think it's more important to help out the businesses.
See what the
And we
problem.
all feel that way.
Right. we
Yeah,
do.
the problem is, and I sat in recently on a seminar on this. The problem is, and I never understood this before, but much of our county only has copper wiring, does not have the other electronic type of wiring. And so in order to get broadband into a lot of areas, it would be extremely expensive. I mean, we'd have to run all new fiber optic cable into many areas. And the thing is that theoretically, we are told that by fourth quarter of this year, the satellite systems will be up and running. And so that's the reason, like Rick said, we're interested. We're keeping our eye on this though, and looking at the current funding from the state specifically for broadband is only available to large corporations. And from the looks of it, the only corporation in this county that would be eligible for anything would be Frontier Communications, because they're the ones that own 90% of the lines and probably 100% of the lines in this county. So we are looking at that, but right now there wouldn't be any direct money for it.
And that question came in from Bobby Kilmer with Claverack. So perhaps the commissioners can reach out to Bobby directly and talk with her more about the opportunities that may be there in our community for broadband. That may be a direct conversation that
I've been looking at it very carefully because of the impact that it has on the agricultural community in this county.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an extremely hot topic statewide that without broadband, it's very difficult to maximize your farm profits. And so I've been looking at that and keeping an eye on all the available information when it comes through.
And of course, for all businesses, broadband is so important, but this is just not the appropriate funding source for it. There's just not enough money there to do a good job with it. So
that's
we want to maximize what we can for the businesses, and we made that decision, the three of us.
Terrific. And I think certainly that's understood. I think we've done the right thing here. This program is, I mean, the funding available will definitely help our local communities. And I'm looking forward to, and I know all of you are, as you said, you started, when I spoke with you last week, you said, well, we're going to announce it on Tuesday. And I said, but my call is Monday. So you need to be on my call Monday and be ready to announce it to our businesses. And you were more than happy to do that for us. So
give it a sneak peek.
Right. So I'm very happy to have you on the call this morning. Certainly for our callers, if you have questions for the county commissioners, please type them into the chat and I am happy to ask them. Also I just want to talk again quickly. I want to go over those who are eligible. So as Rick said, businesses with less than 100 employees, initially this is saying that did not receive PPP and EIDL funding. Now, if you did receive that and you feel you still have losses above and beyond that number, please apply. And I think that this is where our restaurant industry is really getting hit, is that some of them did receive PPP funding. The problem with that is that their losses are well exceeding what they got in PPP funding. And for PPP funding, it is only forgivable if you bring back your entire staff now by December 31st. So you have to be at the same level of employment that you were in February by December, or that PPP funding is not forgivable. So I think a lot of our, especially restaurant industry businesses, are very worried about those numbers. And I think that this is where that funding can help them. Again, if there's some clarification around whether or not they would be eligible. So I'm glad we're continuing to look into that.
Right, we realize that too, and we want to make sure that they get up and running.
Very good. what other questions do we have for county commissioners? It's not often that our business community has a direct access in a group setting like this to our county commissioners. Of course, we're all always more than welcome to join them for their meetings on Tuesdays that they are doing via Zoom right now. So it is great to hop in and watch those meetings if you have time to do that.
It's Gina, it's actually go to meetings now. But if you get on our Wyoming County website, it's listed on there. You can just click on the go to meeting on the web, and you can hook right in with us.
Great.
Yep.
That's my tech savvy showing through, Tom. Everything that is done like this is just Zoom to me. I know.
We're the same way.
They're all Zoom.
And I'm leaving here and going to another meeting, and I'm not sure whether it's Zoom or GoToMeeting either, but there's other programs available too, but that aren't just for the businesses. So
yes.
we'll elaborate on that tomorrow. But there's a rent relief program that Human Services.
Yes.
I just realized I missed that one. So let's talk about the rent relief program, because I think this will be a great thing for employers to share with their employees who they have had to lay off, or that might have had some trouble getting unemployment, right? So I know there are several people who had trouble getting unemployment. So let's talk about the rent relief program.
It's eligible for individuals who suffered at least 30% reduction of their income due to the COVID-19. There's still some rules under review there, but our CEO and Wyoming County Human Services are going to administer this for us. They're familiar with the folks with rent relief, and hopefully they can work together so we're not taking from two pots. You know what I mean? Like there's a rent relief out there, and we want to make sure everyone qualifies for this too. So I mean, so they're going to administer that for us. But it's
now this program again is still in flux. This one is not completed. They're expecting to have it in the next week or two. They'll have everything ready.
Right.
So we don't even have contact phone numbers. How we're going to do it. Again, that's going to be something that we're advertising a lot for the changes, because it's, this has all come down in the last week and a half. I mean, maybe 2 weeks at the most. All these things have finally gotten to our desk so we could act on them. So it's all brand new, and they're still changing things. So that happens. But right now it's there. The money's there. They just haven't finalized it, and they're still working on some of the rules. Right. One of the oddities is people that receive $600 a week if they were unemployed, that may not count towards their 30%, which doesn't make sense to me. But for some reason, the way the bill was written, that was federal money, and it may not count. So they don't, because it's temporary. And they're trying to clarify whether that does or not. So even if someone got the $600 a week, then they may still be eligible for this program. And then they're coming with guidance on that for us.
Right. And CEO and the Wyoming County Human Services had money for rent also, but they weren't allowed to use it for this COVID. And so they have some sitting there, and they want to make sure we don't have to send that back. So they're trying to figure out all those little details in there, but they will. We will.
Great.
And we'll push on that.
And one quick update too. You'll notice that we have different groups involved.
Right.
Because they've got a different set of abilities. Trehab deals with certain things. CEO and Human Service deal with certain things. And so we're trying to pull up. CEO already handles rent programs. So obviously they were the perfect one to give the rent program to. Mm-hmm. So we talked to everybody and tried to get the most we could out of everybody that was out there. So
absolutely. Yeah, the administration would be much smoother.
Absolutely.
Because they already have the contacts.
We need to be retrained, and I don't think we've got the time to go through that right now.
Certainly, these programs are confusing enough. You don't need more things on your plate at this point. I do want to reiterate for nonprofits, it is 501c3 organizations and 501c19 organizations. So C3 is your standard nonprofit. C19 are veterans organizations. Yes. And then I would urge you, if you are any organization that supports the county that has seen a loss that you don't feel you fit under these things, to talk to our commissioners. They are very open.
Check it out.
Because we're in contact with these people every day. And Gina, I did talk about the six, and they're looking into that because there are different types of 501c6, and we're hoping that maybe you can fit in there as well. We don't know. We're waiting on that. I made that phone call on Friday, and they're looking into it for us.
Great.
So we may get a yes, we may get a no. We'll see what happens. So
Any
if we get a no, we're going to ask somebody else.
Right, that's right.
You know,
so any question you guys might have, don't hesitate to call, because this is new to all of us.
Don't ever assume that you're not eligible, because you very well may be. And we'll try to help you out. Apply.
Right. That's right. That's the key word.
We'll have you on the list.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to run you guys. I have another meeting.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep. Thank you.
So what I want to kind of wrap up today, and I think we've shared a lot of great information for all of you, and what I would like to wrap up with is that the Wyoming County Chamber has tried to stay on top of all of the funding programs out there and available to you. I'm working very closely with our county commissioners and staying aware of the changes. As they said, all of these programs, just like every other program that we've talked about in our Restart, Rebound, Rebuild series, is changing almost daily, if not hourly. And the chamber will help you. So if you have questions about, am I eligible for this program or that program, or what program should I apply for, or can you remind me about who is eligible, or can you remind me about what that program is, or who's administering that program? The chamber has those resources, and we are certainly ready, willing, and able to help you with those things. So please call us, 570-836-7755. Send me an email, gina@wyccc.com, and I will point you in the right direction of who is administering what programs. I will let you know as much as I know about the programs out there and who is eligible. I want to once again thank you to our county commissioners for being on our call today. Do you have anything else that I forgot to ask you, or that you would like to add for us before we wrap up our call today?
I just want to say one thing. I'm sure there's people out there with a million questions. The best thing to do is send us an email. Our new email was live on Thursday, so we can use that. We care, WECARE, at wycopa.org, WYCOPA.org. We are monitoring that. Myself and another person are both monitoring it. And if you just want us to call you back, I mean, we'll be glad to do that. One of us, we're going to pass it around. I'm not going to do all of it. I'm going to have Tom and Ernie and all three of us. We work well together. And you'll get in contact. We'll try to answer any questions you have and lead you along the way to get applied for here. So
great.
We want to help as many as we can. That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. And again, that email address is WECARE@WYCOPA.org. So send them an email. It is active right now.
It is active right now. We made that live on Thursday. We were testing it because we've been doing with the application to resubmit. All you do is hit a button. So we've been playing with it for 2 days. The application is still getting changed a little bit, but it's almost there.
Okay, perfect. And when do you anticipate that application being live? Do you have a go date on that?
I'm hoping Wednesday or Thursday.
Perfect. So we'll
maybe delayed a day or two, but this is something we want to get done quick. We want to get it moving.
Sure. So we will keep you updated. We have our call on Wednesday, and then we have another call on Friday. So as soon as we know that application is live, you will know. We'll send out an email via the chamber to everyone and let you know that. Did I just lose you guys? Oh, I did. So it sounds like they're in our back room. It sounds like their computer just died, the battery. So I do apologize for that. But again, we were about to wrap up anyway. Thank you all for being here this morning. Contact our county commissioners if you have any questions. Again, thank you to our county commissioners for being here this morning. Thank you all for being with us this morning. This is going to be recorded. We will get it posted today. You can send it on to other organizations that you work with, other businesses that you work with. This is great information. We're excited to help you, and I'm very happy that this funding is here and available to all of you. So we'll keep you updated. Thank you all for joining us this morning and have a great day. Bye now.